In the perfect world, there should be someone representing a person with a head injury, but unfortunately, we're not caught up in this perfect world. So, my wife and I was asked to go to our new solicitor's office, and I think in my other video you would have seen I made a statement on behalf of both of us, but I didn't think that it would have been accepted. Anyway, we were called to our new solicitor's office, and I was told to keep quiet while he asked my wife questions. After a period of time, questions were asked, and most of the questions now, when I look at it, is all load of rubbish basically, and that is the sort of scenario that I'm faced with, so I'm accustomed to the scenario. But anyway, just trying to put you all in the picture. And we went on this meeting on the 24th of July, and a statement was, questions was asked. My wife was asked questions, and she gave the answers to them. Of course, all of them were wrong, but we received statements for her and myself to be signed, and to make any changes if we can see anything wrong with it. But I'm stuck with a pathetic scenario, because if I help my wife in answering the right questions to all the wrong answers she gave, then I would be intervening in what the answers that she's given. Say for example, if I help her correct all the wrong answers, pathetic answers where she's made statements that she done this job, but it happened to be a job that she done 17 years ago. But when it gets to court, you see, these statements, when it gets to court, the judge will read it, and they will look at it, and they say there's nothing wrong with this individual. They've answered the whole statement and made a statement pretty well. So, if I help her, we lose. And if I don't help her, we lose, basically. So this is a very interesting scenario for those with head injuries out there. For families who want to intervene and correct all the wrong answers that in the statement that is sent to you to sign, and you're asked to change, things that are wrong. But here we are, we're dealing with a claimant who has a head injury. So what do you expect for a head injury claimant to do? To make all perfectly correct statement? The ironic thing is, when the statement came for her to sign, she can't even remember making the statements which she did. So now you've got a head injury patient with in my wife's case, a mild head injury, mild brain injury. She can't remember things that is done 10 minutes ago. Now she sent a statement through to sign that she's made a statement nearly a week ago to remember what she said in that statement, or these questions that she was answering. So it's absolutely ironic, because it doesn't make any logic to think that we're in a society today with a head injury patient that the solicitors is throwing questions at them to answer. They're writing it down, they're writing their statement for them and sending their statement to them, expecting them to remember what they said, nearly a week later. But not only that, their statement is not correct. There's a little trick that these insurance companies, solicitors, and maybe even the courts pull. They will basically, in our case, we we have such a short period. The second solicitor gave us 4 hours to submit the proceedings. I refused to sign them because they were all rubbish, and half the things we have always refused from the very beginning, and the case was thrown out. Right? We've been all down that road, put in appeal. So that shows there is something here that is quite interesting. For other head injury patients to note, they will bring you to the very brink before they get you to sign anything. Like us, we've got, a week left that this statement has got to be in with the court, or the case is damn well thrown out again. So, it's just outrageous, and the cost is absolutely mounting. We're going there for our new solicitor to get a statement of my wife. Really, she should be doing her own statement, but how can you expect somebody with a head injury to do a statement? And we are paying them £330 an hour to basically make a statement, ask the questions that is not in the interest of the claimant, but the interest of the defendant. All the questions that are asked, I'm going to post the statement on the internet that is written by the new solicitors. And if you take a look at my other video with the statement that I submitted on behalf of myself and my wife, it is totally, you would think the person who asked these questions are the defendants rather than the claimant solicitors. Well, the questions, right? Bearing in mind, this is an individual. We went shopping at Costco's. Bloody washing machines fell from 30 feet. We are making a statement, You would think it's about falling washing machines and damages done to neck injury, spinal injury, head injury. No. Statements about when she was born, when she was married, she was divorced, she's got how many children and grandchildren she's got. It is so pathetic, it's beyond belief, and we are going to be charged for all this statement, and well, it just goes on. It is absolutely, grandchildren, son-in-laws, how many times her daughters, how many children she's had, who she's bloody had the damn children with. I just think this is so pathetic, that what sort of bloody society do we belong to, and what sort of legal system we have in this damn effing country. It is a damn well joke, and we have got to go around by it because, this is how it is. It goes on. All the jobs she's had, and one of the questions. This is about an injury to a person. This is one of the questions. It was me. I was supposed to keep my mouth shut. I did mention that she done a bit of care work once, and my wife come out with she does this at home all the time. That she's saying, oh yeah, Christine. She. If I remember the occasion, because I went to Christine's one and helped her with it, and Christine is basically, totally disabled. She's got very tiny arms and tiny legs, and she has to be, she's a tiny person. She had to be carried up at the time. And I can remember her kneeling on the floor. She has to kneel on the floor to help her up, to to get her onto a wheelchair or whatever. And I can remember this occasion. Anyway, she told this solicitor in the statement that she picked her up and she fell back, and Christine fell on her, and she got dismissed for that. Well, you won't get dismissed if you fell down and you let the person fall on you. Well, what she done was, I can remember she coming home quite upset, because she picked Christine up. She knelt on the floor by the settee, picking her up, and she lost balance. Instead of grabbing her, and she's just thrown her over her, and Christine's went right over her blinking head, and fell on the floor, and I think she's got tiny limbs, and I think she might have either injured them very badly or broke one of them or whatever, and that's why she dismissed my wife. But at a later date, she called her back. But in the statement, when you read it, it's like happened last year, But this, when I went and checked to see when, because I knew it was a long while ago, it was over 17 years ago. And that's how my wife is. 17 years could be, she's talking about last year. But my problem now is, do I allow her to sign the statement that she knows nothing about, and sign all this false information that is on there, or do I intervene and put the right answers down? But if I put the right answers down, when that statement goes to court, the judge would think that is nothing wrong with her, to make such a statement. Or if I intervene, then they will think that she's alright. So my dilemma now is, what do I do with this damn statement? If I don't sign it and hand it back, I'm going to end up in the same scenario as before, that it's going to be slung out of court. And if I do get her to sign it, she'll be signing something totally false. So those with mild brain injury or head injury, you are going to be caught up in this pathetic dilemma. That is, if I don't know how they are in the States, but from what I've read on the internet, I think where they get an opportunity with working people, they will exploit you to the every inch of the way. But I have to, find out now, what do I have to do? The thing is, either way, whatever I do will be wrong, and we will lose out, and she will lose out from it. So it's a pathetic situation.